Well, folks, Bradley Cooper is playing Leonard Bernstein, the famous conductor and composer. And apparently this is somehow anti-Semitic because he's wearing makeup. The Anti-Defamation League is now defending Bradley Cooper's use of a prosthetic nose, which in a portrayal of Leonard Bernstein. Of course it's acceptable. Why was this even a controversy? I'm so confused. Following the film's first trailer release on August 15th, according to the UK Independent, the 48-year-old actor, who is not of Jewish descent, caused a stir online as he was accused of fueling anti-Semitic stereotypes. The ADL, however, says, throughout history, Jews were often portrayed in anti-Semitic films and propaganda as evil caricatures with large hooked noses. This film, a biopic of Leonard Bernstein, is not that. That seems like a reasonable response, shockingly, from the Anti-Defamation League. Well, I mean, duh. He put on makeup to look like Leonard Bernstein. I'm confused. Does he look more like Leonard Bernstein or less like Leonard Bernstein? But apparently, we're supposed to, so Bradley Cooper's supposed to look like Bradley Cooper, but we're supposed to believe that he's Leonard Bernstein. Okay, let me just put it this way. Leonard Bernstein and Bradley Cooper do not look alike unless Bradley Cooper wears a lot of makeup. They don't look virtually anything alike. Their noses, in particular, are wildly dissimilar. So Bernstein's family, by the way, totally fine with it, as they should be. I'm super confused as to why this was ever an issue, except that we live in the stupidest time in which we are supposed to pretend offense at things that are inoffensive. So just to point out, the same people, by the way, who I'm sure are very upset about Bradley Cooper in Jew face are perfectly fine with the funding of Hamas to murder Jews in Israel. I think the Venn diagram there is just a circle. So being offended by things that are not anti-Semitism in order to, at the same time, excuse things that are clearly anti-Semitism seems to be one of the hot topics of the day. If you are deeply offended by Bradley Cooper wearing a prosthetic nose to play Leonard Bernstein, to look more like Leonard Bernstein, I don't know what to tell you. You're a dummy. That's really stupid. It's really, really stupid. Again, but I will say, this should force the left into some sort of soul searching, you would think, about what it means when people play people of other ethnicities, but do so in a way that's meant to be flattering and not offensive. I know that we now live in a stupid world in which we are supposed to treat every form of dressing up as equivalent. Megyn Kelly was fired from CBS for the great crime of suggesting that dressing up for Michael Jackson for Halloween is not the same thing as wearing blackface in 1930 and doing an Amos and Andy routine, which is clearly true. But the left will never acknowledge that. That if you dress up as somebody because you actually think that person is worthy of emulation, that is not the same thing as dressing up as Step and Fetch It. Again, very, very stupid time. Bradley Cooper, it's obviously acceptable. And by the way, Helen Mirren playing Golda Meir, also not offensive in any way, shape, or form. It's all stupid, man. Everything is stupid. Gotta tell you, my sleep quality, it sucked last night. Why? Well, it's because my little baby, unfortunately, has some congestion again, which means that he was up between the hours of 3 and 5, which was a good time for both me and my wife. But what did it mean? It meant that once again, I relied on my Helix sleep mattress to save the day. I required sleep in the hours when I was on that mattress, couldn't be tossing and turning, couldn't feel uncomfortable. That's why I'm glad that I have a mattress made specifically for me. Well, now Helix mattress has their best version yet, the Helix Elite. Helix has harnessed years of extensive mattress expertise to bring their customers a truly elevated sleep experience. That Helix Elite collection includes 6 different mattress models, each tailored for specific sleep positions and firmness preferences. I've had that Helix sleep mattress for, as I say, 7 or 8 years. It is great. It is firm. It is breathable. That's kind of what I need from a mattress. If it's too soft, I get back pain. If it's not breathable, I tend to heat up at night. Helix knows that, which is why they sent me the best mattress for me. Go to helixsleep.com/Ben and get the best mattress for you with that 2-minute sleep quiz. Find that perfect mattress. In honor of Labor Day, Helix is offering 25% off all mattress orders plus 2 free pillows for my listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/Ben. Use code HelixPartner25. This is their best offer yet. It's not going to last long with Helix. Better sleep starts right this very instant. Let's talk about your employees. So we have an employee here. Let's call him Jonesy. And he's in my ear pretty much every morning telling me that the clips are ready, everything's great. And yet, I speak to him literally every morning. And yet every time I go up to Nashville, he introduces himself to me as though I have never met him and have no idea who he is. The first time, it was kind of charming. The 11th time, I started to wonder if Jonesy had some form of short-term memory loss. Well, if you're wondering if your employees have short-term memory loss and maybe you need to upgrade, this is why you should check out ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is a hiring partner focused on you and your needs. ZipRecruiter knows how tough it is. They figured out solutions for the problems you're facing. See for yourself right now. You can try them for free at ZipRecruiter.com/dailywire. To reach more of the right people, ZipRecruiter posts your job to 100 plus job sites. ZipRecruiter's smart technology finds great matches for your job, then lets you invite the most qualified people to apply for it. Their pricing is super straightforward. You can stick to your budget with no surprises. Team up with ZipRecruiter, a hiring partner who understands what you need. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within day one. Head on over to ZipRecruiter right now. ZipRecruiter.com/dailywire. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/dailywire. ZipRecruiter is indeed the smartest way to hire. Donald Trump is going to counter-program the debate with a pre-taped interview with Tucker Carlson on Twitter. Again, I think we've seen interviews with Donald Trump and Tucker before, so I don't think it'll be particularly illuminating or fascinating in any way, but it's smart of Tucker and smart of Trump. You got to give credit where credit is due in terms of the media business. And then meanwhile, he's going to counter-program the aftermath of the debate by getting arrested in Georgia. So he has to turn himself into arrest in Georgia. He had up until the 25th to do it. He's deciding to do it on the 24th, I would assume, in order to counter-program the debate fallout from tonight. Rudy Giuliani was arrested today in Georgia. Rudy, of course, was his lawyer, one of his lawyers throughout the election debacle and post-election, in which Rudy was making claims about voting machines being hacked and all the rest of this sort of stuff, making accusations about particular Fulton County employees who he then had to retract those comments so that he wouldn't be sued into the ground. So here is Rudy's comments upon being arrested. Now, should Rudy be arrested for his failed legal stratagems? It seems to me that many of those failed legal stratagems fall squarely in the realm of free speech. Here was Giuliani.
To Georgia, and I'm feeling very, very good about it because I feel like I'm defending the rights of all Americans, as I did so many times as a United States attorney. People like to say I'm different. I'm the same Rudy Giuliani that took down the mafia, that made New York City the safest city in America, reduced crime more than any mayor in the history of any city, anywhere, and I'm fighting for justice.
Okay, whether or not that is true, the fact is that the counter-programming here is going to be Republicans feeling that Team Trump is victimized. That is the entire shtick here. And it's kind of true, but this is why, again, the case that's going to have to be made on stage by somebody is that Trump is not going to beat Biden. That's the only case any other candidate can make. Now, again, the 2016 says that you don't know. And that's true. You don't know. However, if you're making the case against Donald Trump being electable, Donald Trump losing in 2020 plus 4 indictments I don't see how Donald Trump electoral results 2020 plus 4 indictments means that Trump performs wildly better than he did in 2020. You just have to assume that Joe Biden would perform markedly worse than he did in 2020. Okay, well, meanwhile, Trump, as we say, he is going to be showing up for arrest tomorrow. Apparently, there's an open betting pool on how much Trump is going to weigh in at. So people are trying to figure out how much Trump weighs. I guess the over-under is in the 270s. I think that's high. I think he's probably in the 240s or 250s. But in any case, the Trump is facing some additional legal challenges. According to new filings from special counsel Jack Smith, this would be in the Washington, D.C. case, which, again, is a mischarge. One of Trump's employees in Mar-a-Lago has now flipped and apparently is testifying against the former president. According to Ryan Saavedra at Daily Wire, the employee identified in court documents as Trump Employee 4 quickly changed his grand jury testimony after meeting with a lawyer from the federal defender's office in Washington, D.C. He said he no longer wanted to be represented by Trump's political action committee, a person who was recommended to him by Trump's lawyer. The revelation was made in a court filing from Smith's team in response to U.S. District Court Judge Eileen Cannon, that is the federal judge overseeing the case. So actually, this is not in the D.C. case. This is the Florida classified documents case, which, again, is a political prosecution, but also is better founded legally than any of the other prosecutions. Apparently, during the investigations, the government gathered evidence that Trump employee Carlos de Oliveira tried to enlist the director of information technology for Mar-a-Lago to delete Mar-a-Lago's security footage after the grand jury in the D.C. had issued a subpoena for the footage. The U.S. government approached Stanley Woodward, the lawyer representing Trump employee number 4, to notify him he had a potential conflict by representing both him and Walt Nauta, that is the Trump aide accused of obstructing the grand jury investigation. Mr. Woodward responded he did not have a reason to believe his concurrent representation of Trump employee 4 and Nauta raised a conflict of interest. When Trump employee 4 testified before the grand jury in D.C. in March 2023, he repeatedly denied or claimed not to recall any contacts or conversations about security footage. Apparently, the government's evidence indicated that this testimony was false. Prosecutors informed Trump employee he was the target of the grand jury investigation. This guy apparently didn't want to go to jail, and so now he is flipping lawyers, and he is going to testify that people at Trump's direction were destroying security footage. So again, the most serious case that Trump faces on a legal level is not the Georgia case, it's not the D.C. case, it's not the New York case. It's actually that Florida case. Meanwhile, Trump's legal team is experiencing a number of setbacks. David Schaefer, former chairman of the Georgia Republican Party, one of the 19 defendants in the Georgia election interference case, is now claiming in court filings he and other Republican electors who tried to certify Trump as the winner in Georgia were acting directly at Trump's behest. So this may signal that, again, more people who are in Trump's orbit are ready to flip on him legally to avoid jail time themselves, which is one of the things that comes into play when Donald Trump does not pay your legal bills. It turns out that there are a bunch of people, up to and including Jenna Ellis, whose legal bills are not being paid by the former president of the United States. That is a major danger for the former president of the United States. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.